welcome to Double Skull, and today we're going to do a battle report between the Corrupted Orlocks of the Blue Oyster Cult and the Venators of the Blood Moon Hunters. So it's a standard gang fight, so it will just be two gangs lining up against each other, drubbing 7 bells of hell out of each other until one either flees the battlefield or is annihilated under the boot of the other. So first up, we've got the Blood Moon Hunters, the leader, Tiberius, melter gun and hip shooting, bit of a brutal combination. Enderthor is a champion, close combat specialist, power sword and auto pistol. Crag, another close combat specialist, this time with a chain glaive, a lovely squat, one of the few survivors of the Tyrannid Horde. Alicia, lasgun and decent BS 3 plus shooting specialist. Helios, another shooting specialist. 2 auto pistols, so he's going to be twin gun blazing as much as possible. Shroom is just a small little lunatic who likes wielding a massive chainsaw around. And finally, Morgan is their sniper specialist, deadly at long range with a long las, no sights or anything like that, no armor because hopefully he'll be hidden out of sight. Onto the Blue Oyster Cult. We have Lucky, the road captain, bolt gun, servo claw, chainsword, mesh, bit of a demon all round really. Blade Breaker, the sergeant, 2 plasma pistols, chainsaw, demolition charge, so again, don't want to get close to this guy, he's going to tear you to shreds. The scrap code Corrupted Ambot from White Dwarf last year, so slightly different from the standard Ambot. He comes with nerves of steel, he's just slightly more brutal and corrupt and horrible and drooling and will like to rip your insides out and feed them back to you. And then we've got 3 standard gangers, all with auto guns. Avathan Doomcall, Mylenar Warpclaw, and Leningar Thrallform, all auto gun wielding, mesh armoured, simpleton lunatics, dedicated to the ruinous powers. It's a Zone Mortalis 7-tile board with a nice little river in case you want to jump into the sewer system and have a dip, possibly catch your lunch. Some kind of delicious swimming slobbery tentacled mess is bound to be drooling in there. And there is a Prometheum stash in the corner as well with all those red barrels. Anyone getting too close to that is likely to get blown to pieces. So both gangs deploying in a reasonably unimaginative way, I suppose. Just laying out across the deployment zone. No one going for a big flanking manoeuvre, no one going for a desperate charge down the middle. All pretty standard, kind of. I don't know how to set up properly. I'll just lay them all out reasonably evenly across the entire deployment space. Works every time. Similarly, bog standard layout for the Blue Oyster Cult. We've got Blade Breaker on the left-hand side, along with one of the gangers. Ganger up top. Then bit more of a flanking action going on here. Actually, we've got the Ambot, the leader Lucky, and another one of the gangers on the right-hand side, getting ready for a big right hook, swarming down the right-hand side, hoping to cause panic, terror, and mayhem wherever they show their foul, corrupted faces. Tactics cards. So, Blood Moon got Spike Drinks and Adrenaline Surge. Adrenaline Surge, really good actually, gets you activate an additional action per turn. And the Spike Drinks just basically screws up one of their guys, lowering his BS and WS, but increasing their cool, because they're drunk, and everyone's cool when they're drunk. Blue Oyster Cult, Healthy Paranoia and Lucky Find. Lucky Find so they can cancel out of ammo. And Paranoia giving you a 360 degree firing arc. Both Healthy Paranoia and the Spike Drinks are going on the Ambot, so he's both incredibly drunk and yet also incredibly perceptive at the same time. So he might lose his wallet and fall down the stairs, but At least he'll be able to tell you about it in great detail later. Turn 1, priority goes to the Blood Moon Hunters, and it's Morgan to move first, getting up behind that barrel, getting ready for a nice bit of sniping. First shot of the game, let's see how it goes. Morgan's got 3+ to hit, and a long las, a more elegant weapon for a more civilized time. So that'll be an additional +1 to hit at long range, minus the 1 for soft cover due to that railing, hiding behind a lamppost, classic evasion technique. But it doesn't work, and there's a hit. Boom! Right in the kisser. Strength 4, toughness 3, 3's to wound, that's a 4, so that's a wound. 5+ save on mesh, no penetration. It's failed, injury roll, seriously injured, and face down on the first roll of the game. Boom, Avathan, Doom Cowl lying on the floor, spreading his heretical guts all over the underhive. Group activation for the big right hook. Got the corrupted scrap code Ambot. Just moving past the delicious mushroom stew. No human content. The rib cages in there are purely decorative. Then Lucky, the leader, moving up behind him and getting a sniff of the good stuff. And lastly, Thrall form, tucking in tight. If there's one place to hide, hiding behind an enormous corrupted scrap code Ambot seems to be the most sensible place to lurk. Enderthor moves down the stairs, and then there's group activation for Blade Breaker and Myonar, moving up past the rather picturesque river feature. Drink from it at your peril. Shroom, the young rattling lunatic, gets in on the action with a double move out into the middle of nowhere. Cover is for weasels. Then just finishing off the rest of the Blood Moon Hunter's turn, Elysia moving sideways to get behind some cover on the left. Then Tiberius and Helios sauntering up the central corridor without a care in the world. Looking sexy as hell. And then finally Crag just moving up to the door alongside his good friend Enderthor. And that be the end of that. So it's a bottle test for the Blue Oyster Cult, which they've passed. They're staying around for more action. End phase of turn 1, just the one man seriously injured. So recovery roll for him, and he is still seriously injured. So lying down with broken bones and blood aplenty. On to turn 2. Turn 2, priority back to the Blood Moon Hunters. The cultists have obviously been praying to the wrong gods today. And straight away, it's back to the deadliest shot in the west of the underhive. It's Morgan Creed, aiming and firing. And who's the lucky sausage with his face in the crosshairs? None other than Myonar Warp Claw, just spotted behind that pillar. Quite well hidden, but yeah, hard cover, you can still see the little fella. 3's to hit, not out of ammo. 3's to wound. Yep, wounded. 5+ to save. No, not saved, and seriously injured. The entire left-hand side flank of the Corrupted Orlocks is in serious danger of collapsing around their ears. Break test for Blade Breaker, the champion. 6+ cool, so pretty good cool. Quite a cool chap. often seen in sunglasses, and failed. So, yeah, completely collapsed. Left hand side has crumbled like a delicious crumbly cake. And off he flees like the Weasley coward that he is. Right, group activation. Here come the Chaos Boys. The big right hook. Tyson is preparing himself for the knockout blow. So Lucky moves forward, opens the door. Quite the polite gentleman there. And Thrallfall backs him up. Right, so yeah, Thrall form is auto gun 4+. You can see Shroom, who very bravely decided to stand out in the middle of nowhere. Bit of cover there from that pillar and possibly the ladder. But yeah, 5+ to hit still. Soft cover 4+ long range. Gonna need quite a good shot, but the guy is renowned for his shooting abilities, apart from this time, as he's absolutely terrible. Wasting ammo, peppering bullets all over the spot. But here comes the Ambot, charging through the ranks, spreading terror wherever he raises ugly mush. Interestingly, the only reason the Ambot's actually in the gang today is because Dave left his heavy bolter man at home. But such as it is, that's the twist of fate for you. Now Shroom activates and righteously flees. Not backwards, of course, that's far too cowardly, but as long as you can hide. I'm assuming if an Ambot can't see you, an Ambot can't get you. Out of sight, out of mind. Let's hope for the best. Elysia moves to the left to spy the Ambot. See if she can pick him off through that little hole. Quite difficult for an Ambot to hide, I'm assuming. Let's see how she gets on. So Elysia, BS 3+, lasgun, within 18 inches, so it's going to be 2+, just depends on the cover, which I'm assuming is hard. Yeah, that's pretty hard cover. I mean, I do spy with my little eye something beginning with A, but maybe just his legs. Could blast that little skull totem off the top of him, I suppose, but other than that, we're going for his toes. So, -2 for hard cover, +1 4s to hit. Still, 50-50. I like those odds. And he's hit. She's hit. Searing laser beam to the central section, which was actually not able to be seen. 5 to wound, not wounded, and nerves of steel on the corrupted scrap code, which he passed his cool test on, so not even pinned. Bounces off the surface, does absolutely nothing. Still worth shooting, makes you feel cool, makes you feel hard. Might as well waste some ammo whilst we've got it. So the left hand side of the Blue Oyster Cult settlement not looking great. 2 seriously injured guys. Blade Breaker currently broken and fleeing off the board. Tiberius double timing it forward, getting pretty close to the danger zone with his melter gun. Able to run and gun with that with his skills. Looking good. Fully stimmed up. 15 hours in the gym every day. Helios moves to back up his small lunicidal friend. Getting pretty close to the Ambot, but I suppose someone's got to kill it, and if you're going to shoot an Ambot, you might as well do it with auto pistols. What's the worst that can happen? So just finishing off the rest of the turn for the Venators. Champ moving forward, double speed. And yeah, it was actually Crag, the squat, who opened the door, so he should have moved first, but slightly out of order. If you want to call me a cheat for that, then that's fine. However, as there was no one else to go, it doesn't really make an awful lot of difference. But yeah, that's the end phase. Blue Oyster Cult taking a bottle test and passing. They're sticking around for one more round. Seriously injured man needs a flesh wound and gets it, so he's back on his feet. -1 toughness, but back in the game. Ready to rock and roll, arm to the teeth, ready to cause some carnage, and a rally test. Rally, Blade Breaker has rallied, so that entire left-hand flank suddenly looks an awful lot nicer. He's back in business and ready for war. So, turn 3 priority phase. And once again, the Blood Moon Hunters have got it. Nothing going right for the cultists at the moment. First out of the blocks is Tiberius Cage, the leader, Blood Moon Hunters leader, with the melter gun and hip shooting, a pretty brutal combination. So he's going to move to within short range and fire. Fire at Blade Breaker, the recently rallied champion. If this doesn't work, he's going to get a dual plasma pistol to the face. So I think he's kind of hoping that it's not going to miss. Always the one which does, though. The short range melter gun. What could possibly go wrong apart from everything? 3 plus BS. +1 to hit at close range, but -1 due to the hip shooting. Stood wide out in the open, so there's no cover at all. 3 plus to hit. By the skin of his teeth. Bosh. So 2 plus required. Strength 8, toughness 3. Wounded, and at that range, automatically out of action. 14, no long-term effect. Just melted his clothes, but he really liked that jacket, so he's off. Thrall form moves up, finding himself a little bit of cover and a better angle to fire at Elysia. Auto gun again. Can't beat a good bit of rapid fire. When in doubt, just keep the finger pulled tight on the trigger. When in doubt, blast it out. So 5's required. Still not as accurate as long range as anything like a las gun. But he's got it. 3 times, 3 hits. Blown to smithereens. Strength 3, toughness 3, 2 wounds. 5 plus save, 1 saved. 1 injury roll. Serious. Face down in the dirt, eating worms. Crawling around, trying to put your guts back in your stomach. And with that, Elysia bites the dirt. Helios up the ladder. Trying to get an angle on the ambot. But I don't think he saw Lucky. Hiding just out of sight. Climbs up with his first move. And then empties the contents of a bolt gun at short range directly into the flank of the unsuspecting idiot. BS 3 plus, bolt gun at short range though. That's 2s to hit. Anything but a 1, and there's going to be some serious trouble in the Helios household. Hit, but jammed. hit once. Bolt gun out of ammo, or at least jammed for now. But still managed to get one hit in, which is wounded. No save from the bolt gun. And a flesh wound. So he's pinned with a flesh wound, but still on his feet. Just blew a toe off. Endithor switches flanks, tries to get back into the action. Or into the action at all. A little stronghold for the Blue Oyster Cult behind that bit of wall. And Avathan Doomcowl, who recently recovered in the end phase, so just got flesh wounds, he can stand up. Stands up and immediately has the Venator leader in his sights. 4+ to hit, auto gun. Short range as well, 3s to hit. And it is just not their day. Missing everything. Morgan Creed, the guy who's pretty much single-handedly collapsed that entire flank so far, spies the man who's just stood up. Thank you very much. Show me that smiling face. 2s to hit with aiming. 3'll do it. Not out of ammo. Actually bought plenty of ammo to the underhive for once. That's hit. Toughness 2 now because of his flesh wound, so that's wounded. 5s required and not saved. Close to the railing, so he could fall off, which he has done because he's failed his initiative check. So he's managed to tumble over the railings as well, but narrowly avoid landing in the river and being swept away to a watery grave, or his first bath in years. Seriously injured, so having just stood back up, he's now straight back face down. Scrapcode Ambot, charging round the corner. Getting dangerously close to Shroom there. Just out of range, though, of the charge. And accordingly, Shroom gets the hell out of dodge. Fast as he can, around the corner, up the ladder. There is a waiting bolt gun there, but it is jammed at the minute. Equally, the guys are very good in close combat. Bottle check at the end, with multiple people now out of action or dead completely. Then it's 1, 2, or 3 to pass for the Blue Oyster Cult. 2 sticking around. They're not going anywhere. Some injury rolls, so still seriously injured in the end phase. Still seriously injured. And finally, still seriously injured. And we're on to turn 4. Can the Blue Oyster Cult win 1 priority in the entire battle? No. No. 100% of the time so far, the Blue Oyster Cult has managed to lose priority. So once again, the Blood Moon Hunters have it. So it's just going to be a simple charge from Tiberius to coup de grace, the downed Mylenar of the Corrupted Orlocks. Nice little curb stomp straight on the face. Experience point. Oh dear! Straight for the double skull, 66. Memorable death. So he is dead, unsavable. Even though the rogue docs seem to have taken a little holiday at the minute, even if they were around, they wouldn't be able to save him from that. He's dead. That's an extra experience for the Venator leader, and a man to scrub off the gang sheet, unfortunately, for the Blue Oyster Cult. He's dead. Lucky decides to take things into his own hands. Charge. Shroom on the receiving end. Midget with a chainsword versus the road captain of a corrupted gang. What could possibly go wrong? So 3s to hit on the servo claw, 2s on the chainsword, everything hits, 4 hits. Strength 5 and Strength 3 versus Toughness 3. Renderizing wound, a wound and a wound, so that's double damage on the renderizing, so that's 4 injury dice with no armor save. Flesh, 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 flesh. So just death by 1,000 cuts, taking them apart, 1 toenail at a time. Out cold for the first injury roll, and miss next game on the second. So 2 injury dice there due to 4 flesh, due to the 4 flesh wounds, and only having toughness 3. So he's missed next game. Crawling away like a coward when faced with a horrific lump of metallic chaotic slime. And the Ambot's taken the bait and is following suit up the lift and round the corner. Decided he wants to stomp and chomp. Helios leaps to his feet. Dual wielding auto pistols here. Gonna smash both out. Twin guns blazing, point blank range. 3+ to hit, +1 for close range. But it's going to be -1 for twin guns blazing, so 3s to hit, 2 rapid fire shots, both at 3+. Miss. Missed everything. Just emptying wildly into the air, just shooting pigeons. Or their underhive equivalents. Thrall form. Up the ladder. And shoot in the back. The true coward's way. So 4s to hit, close range on his auto guns. That'll be 3s to hit. Rapid fire auto gun. And once again, everything goes wrong. The Blue Oyster Cult just can't do anything right today. Okay, Ender Thor uses Adrenaline Surge. So make 1 additional action this turn. So he's just going to move forward his standard movement for his first activation. Now he's got 2 left, so he'll charge. Using the Adrenaline Surge, that's 3 additional inches of charge, and he's in on the leader. Lucky's going to need his luck now. So 3+ WS, power sword, the auto pistol's got man stopper rounds, 3s to hit, 3s to hit, all hit, 1 hit with power. The power sword hit with power, which means it's unsavable. He's parried the auto pistol because you can't parry the power sword, but that's hit again. 3s to wound. That's 3 wounds, but one of them's double because of the power 6, so that's 4 wounds. The power sword is -2, So only the pistol is savable at 5+, which isn't. So that's 4 damage, 2 injury dice. However, he does have true grit, so that reduces it to 1 injury dice. But he's seriously injured, and with a coup de grace to the back of the head and an eye injury, making him miss next game and lose 1 BS. Lucky calls it a day. Time to get out of dodge and flee the arena. That's victory for the Blood Moon Hunters, as the Blue Oyster Cult flee with their tails between their legs back to the wretched corner of the hive from whence they came. So 100 credits for the Blood Moon Hunters for winning, +1 XP for everyone for taking part, an extra 1 for the leader, 2 reputation. The Blue Oyster Cults get 1 XP per fighter, 50 credits, no reputation, and succeeded in their dark ritual, so next time they fight, they'll have the power of Tzinch at their beck and call. Thanks very much for watching. If you liked it, then like and subscribe. Standard malarkey that you get told to do at the end of every video like this. If you want to leave any advice or comments, please do. Still getting used to this, not really knowing what in the name of hell we're doing. So yeah, any advice would be greatly appreciated. But thanks for watching, and hopefully see you soon.